It's been studied. It has. And it's independent, it's not by the wind company, and it shows something completely different.
And we have a similar problem called the gravel pit. I mean, I can write my name on my back window sills, and that's been existing in Cohocton probably since you were a child. So, I mean, the times they do change. I think this is a necessary evil.
I have a hard time believing that a property won't be adversely affected by a 650-foot wind turbine.
10 grand a year, it's no big deal.
450 feet, yeah, it was questionable 12 years ago, but 650 feet? I mean, are they planning on buying people out? I mean, are they gonna give people fair market value for the houses if they wanna leave?
Triple.
No, I mean,
Why not?
there's nothing that indicates that it's necessary.
Well, have you been to New York City and looked at a 650-foot tower? I mean, they're huge.
Well, he's got them next to his house.
Excuse me?
He's got them next to his house.
I doubt it.
Did the town board secure a third-party independent expert to consult on the modification? You know, the original law, there was a third-party expert secured, worked in conjunction with the wind developer to put that law in place.
CPP had just asked for a variance to increase the height down there, and we've worked with LaBella Associates to go through their variance request.
And here's the books that we at the planning board have gotten over the summer. How many months did we work on it, planning board? With about 8 special meetings, where the lawyers are ready to move into Cohocton because they've been here so much. But this was for a 44-foot increase to the current turbines. And these are exhaustive studies of everything. Shadow flicker noise and the rest of it. And you're talking about a minor thing like 200 feet more to the turbines, and they're not going to make any difference. I think that's the problem. And not taking the hard look for the secret at all.
I think the board ought to look at solar systems. That's what I think the board ought to look at.
Any more questions?
I would just like to say something in regards to the property devaluation. I mean, you can put all the studies out there that you want, but I think anybody here with common sense, nobody's going to be going to the realtor and saying, geez, could you find me a nice place out in the country with a beautiful view of the windmills? That just doesn't happen. So, I mean, all this, just use a little common sense on this is all I'm saying.
So if you're looking at rewriting the original law, I want to go back to experiences that I saw from the current windmill operation. One was that approximately 60% of my property became unbuildable because it fell within the radius of unbuildable zones. So if you're increasing that, what portion of the community do you impact with their ability to build on their sites? And then finally, second comment, which came up about the repower operation. CPP said that they were using the best available technology now, but yet they're only putting serrated trailing edge blades on about half of their turbines. So if you're looking at rewriting law, you should be looking at mandating the use of best available technologies. I know the new project that Chip's talking about, the state has mandated that for use in the project. That is, in fact, technology that was not available in 2006 and is now. The charter of the board at the time was to minimize, to the extent possible, the environmental impact of the project. If they have better technology, it should be employed.
What about blasting for 650-foot turbines? They couldn't go down as far as they wanted for these. I don't think you're going to put a 650-foot turbine 30 feet in the ground.
We do not expect to do any blasting. Are you talking about for the foundations?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, it's still a similar style foundation as we had for the 500-foot turbines.
Using the same foundations?
It's not the same foundation, it's a similar style. It's like it's called a spread footer.
I know what it
foundation.
is, but we watched them go in.
Yeah, so it's a similar style of foundation. It might be a foot or two deeper. We're still getting the, yeah, because the existing foundation is only 9 feet deep. So, you know, it's not, it's designed to be like a pancake, not,
Yep.
not a pile.
I know.
So, yeah, it's not meant to be a deep foundation.
Nancy?
Who is the town using for their legal advice regarding this?
The town attorney, Jeff Squires.
So you don't have a windmill expert,
No.
legal advice?
No. Well, yeah, John Vogel is actually representing us for the Article 10 stuff. Anybody else at this point in time? I think,
I brought up at a recent board meeting the fact that yet a third company has plans for a windmill
we
project in
just
the area.
received notice of
Okay.
that,
So
transfer.
I think obviously the board should consider the impact cumulatively of all three projects.
I don't know how far along they've just submitted their application.
They have an Article 10 application in, yes.
I think what I'm going to do is recess the public hearing until our next board meeting, which is November, excuse me, December, I believe it's 17th. Yes, December 17th at 7 o'clock.
Supervisor Johnson, can you do that in a motion so it can be advertised?
Doesn't have to be advertised because we're just recessing.
Okay.
Am I correct, Attorney?
I think it would be better practice to go ahead and do it though.
That was my question.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Any further discussion of the board?
Yeah, I just wanna see, the environmental assessment form. Do you know where that is?
I think the town attorney has it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cause we looked for it today and we don't, it isn't here, so if we could,
Yeah,
because
we
that's
have to
gotta
forward that
go.
to the planning board. Martha?
Councilman Small?
Aye.
Councilman Dusenberry?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Gilman?
Aye.
Councilman Thomas?
Okay, adjustments to the agenda. One other one, I had some, already handwritten on there, but under old business C, we want to address, the police department's request for some equipment. Long gun. We'll be crossing them off as we get done, because we can't do it tonight. Correspondence, Martha?
I don't have anything to say.
Approval of minutes for the meetings on the 15th, 11/4.
I'll make a motion that we approve them.
Have a second? Any further discussions or corrections?
Page 3, October 15th, Martha.
Bear with me, I didn't have them right on top. Okay,
Third motion. I wasn't present, so I couldn't make any kind of second.
oh,
So I don't know who did.
I have to look back at my notes.
And then the next paragraph, or the next motion, just it's commissioners, take off your apostrophe.
Okay.
Is that it? Any other corrections or discussion? Martha?
Bear with me just for a second, please.
Yep.
Councilman Small?
Aye.
Councilman Dusenberry?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Gilman?
Aye.
Councilman Towner?
Aye. Receipt of reports, we didn't get one from ambulance commissioners or water that I saw.
There was no ambulance meeting, it got canceled due to the weather.
I have a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion that we receive those report with the exception of ambulance commissioners and water.
I'll second.
Supervisor, town clerk, dog control, highway justices, planning board, code, police, and assessor?
Correct.
Yes. Dave seconded it. Any further discussion?
Just on the highway, Don, they had some line item transfers, and I don't see them on your line item transfers.
I haven't finished those yet.
Okay,
I've only gotten.
so
Yeah.
you're aware of them then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Councilman Smollow?
Aye.
Councilman Dusenberry?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Gilman?
Aye.
Councilman Towner?
Aye. Approval of regular abstract. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the abstract dated 11/19, number 011.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Martha?
Councilman Smollow?
Aye.
Councilman Dusenberry?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Gilman?
Aye.
Councilman Towner?
Aye.
We have some budget modifications, line item transfers. And also what we have to do is to do a resolution to authorize moving the monies that we decided when we did the budget into the reserves, various reserves.
I'll make a motion that we do the amendments to the budget modifications and reserves as requested.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Martha?
Councilman Smollow?
Aye.
Councilman Dusenberry?
Aye.
Supervisor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Gilman?
Aye.
Councilman Towner?
Aye. Under old business, we've been going back and forth with Canandaigua Power Partners because we've got to do some updates on the existing host community agreements just to bring them up to speed on that. Plus, there's the discussion of the payment schedule. So I'd like to turn this over to Kevin and Ben so you can explain it to us. Go ahead.
Excuse me, before you guys get started. Did you say it was, you needed a motion to authorize to move monies into the reserves?
That was included.
That was part of it,
It was
yes.
part of it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was going to be separate. I will catch that. Excuse me.
So I'd like to turn this over to Ben and Kevin for them to explain it to us and the rest of the folks sitting in here.
So there are three different agreements in play here. The road use agreement doesn't need any updating. What will be done at the time that the construction plan is designed, Ben will simply sit down with the highway department, redefine the roads, they'll be resurveyed, and that will then mark the condition of those roads at that time, so that one is fine. The permit oversight agreement needs a number of amendments simply to reflect some of the things that were done at the planning board as part of the special use modification process. So a number of things that need to be added, the new dust control plan, the requirements regarding sound operation, noise monitoring, the new complaint resolution protocol, addition to the emergency action plan, a new decommissioning blade removal plan, and then the notice sections of the agreement are out of date. So all of those things were recommended by Labella. They're part of the special use permit, and then simply should be reflected in the permit oversight agreement. And then the final thing is the host benefit agreement doesn't contemplate an amendment of the IDA pilot. So the existing host benefit agreement has two different schedules. It has a Schedule A, which simply goes till 2028. And then there's a Schedule B that comes into play when the existing pilot was terminated, or if there was no pilot. If for some reason there was no provision in the existing host benefit agreement, what should be done if the existing pilot was amended and extended. So the IDA has resolved, and the closing is currently scheduled for December 6th, to extend that pilot to 2041. And that is an extension then reflecting 20 years of new operational period. So what we've proposed is a schedule that addresses the fact that there is technically no payment due from the company then under the existing host benefit agreement from 2029 until 2042. And we know that that's not, you know, what anyone wants to see in 2028 or 2029. So we've proposed a schedule to fill in that gap. And, you know, not dissimilar to what you did on the Barron host benefit agreement, where there's a reflection that the fair market value of the facilities will drop 90% over 20 years. As we've discussed in prior meetings, right now we pay somewhere between $190,000, $195,000 a year, so in special district assessments. So for the ambulance district, that's 56% of the monies collected. For the Cohocton Fire District, it's 70%, and for the Atlanta Fire District, we pay 49% of all those budgets. The current assessment on the turbines, the fair market value is set at $2,840,000, which collectively means then that the current value is, you take your pick, 100 million high. We haven't challenged that assessment, and we said if we could get an approval of the declining host benefit agreement we put on the table, we'll leave the valuations on the assessed side of the roll the same, so that we're not negatively impacting the ambulance, the fire, and those special district payments. So, you know, we had discussion at prior meetings. Don't impact those. So if we leave those the same and we leave the values at 2.8 million per turbine, we think then that the schedule we've submitted to you is a fair schedule for filling in the gap on that host benefit agreement, so that there are a schedule of payments then that the company would make from 2029 through 2041.
Any comments?
It's a 5% decrease.
Correct.
The present one is a 1% decrease. And that runs out in 2029?
2028 is the last year there's a scheduled payment.
Any comments from the board?
Well, in our association of towns, it tells us that we should be expecting a 2% increase each year in our host community, but you're asking for a 5% decrease.
That's
right?
probably on new things. and that's wonderful that they think that. Have them show up and pay the difference.
Well, we just heard